He did a bad job at specifying, because saying MAGA Republicans is not the group that he actually means, that you and I both agree deserve the critique.
Empowering election deniers to undermine democracy itself. MAGA forces are determined to take this country backwards.
So he started out saying, I'm going to do this, that. But all he said after that is that MAGA bad.
I mean, he's talking specifically about efforts to overturn the election, right?
But then why are you starting your speech out by saying I'm for all Americans and then say except for these people? That goes exactly back to my thing about our democracy means y'all's democracy. We're not a part of it. We are ruining your democracy by putting Trump in office.
I mean, you were a part of our democracy, right? Trump just lost, right? Like, but then he refused to accept it, right?
Yes.
So, like, that's the harm that he's trying to point to.
I agree. I don't think that pointing to harm is nobody is unaware that Donald Trump thought the election was stolen.
Everybody's heard that the bird is the word.
Why is he spending this much time on it? That's the point.
That's the point. Thing, because he was the
and that's again why
of the Republican Party even after doing all of this stuff, right? Like he made this speech because he sees Trump's continued favor of the Republican Party as being a potential threat to the U.S. Because let's say Trump loses again, but this time when he says that the election was stolen from him, these extreme fervent supporters of him who believe that their country is being stolen and destroyed and all of these other things, right? If they act very violently, that would be a really big danger to
right. But you hear the difference in what you said and what Biden said. You said the people who are doing it, and he said MAGA Republicans.
Well, those are two very different things.
Right. He's trying to specify this very small.
Okay, fine. Then he did a bad job at doing that. He did a bad job at specifying, because saying MAGA Republicans is not the group that he actually means, that you and I both agree deserve the critique.
See, I feel like that he's been trying to do that, and a lot of right-wing media has been latching onto the fact that he said MAGA Republicans and saying he's talking about you specifically, right? Like, that secondary perception doesn't necessarily mean that was the intention of Biden. And when I asked you what kind of label you might affix to this specific group of Americans, you can understand why he wouldn't go after quote unquote America first Republicans if he doesn't believe that their values are putting America first. And also just the notion of attacking someone who considers themselves America first, right? Like, who would want to be against putting America first, right? That it's a very
apparently Joe Biden. I don't know.
I mean, in the other speech that I was trying to show with you, he repeatedly talked about how he was trying to put America first in terms of build American, buy American, things like that.
Yeah, and again, I didn't have a problem with that speech, but the reason that I didn't want to use that speech is because the problems that I have with Biden weren't part of that speech, and the problems that I have with Biden are permeate. They're with Biden. They just didn't show up there. And so when if I'm saying I have a problem with Biden doing X, Y, and Z, and then we show a speech where he doesn't do X, Y, Z, then we don't have anything there. Right. But Guantek said, I love what Guantek says. You could have the exact same message. A small portion of MAGA Republicans, we know it's not all of them. I know he said that part, but a very small portion that, and it's just little things. And if you think that they're not workshopping every single word and inflection of what they're saying, then I mean, I don't know what to tell you. That you could call that a conspiracy.
I think they probably are trying to, right? And how it's being interpreted may not be, how they desire, but yeah, I have no doubt that they're trying to do what they can to narrow down who they're talking about.
I think we can agree on that. Let's say Soil the Soul says, shout out to David.
Thank you, David.
Shout out to you, David, for real. We're doing these. These types of conversations are needed so much. Let's give a big dilly to our guest. Oh shit. So it goes on to say, I think he's spending so much time on it because the reality is anyone who puts themselves out to run for office, such as presidency, has ego and wants it fed. They hold grudges, and sometimes that's to the detriment of the American population. What do you think about what do you think about that, David?
I think it definitely takes some degree of ego to run for president. I think some people do so with an intention to serve the people more so than others. But I guess it's hard to pull out from this exactly.
Sure, but I think to her point is more specifically saying that Biden has a grudge against Trump, but I actually disagree with that. I generally don't really think Biden really knows where he is, but I think it's just a tactic that he knows. Again, the perception of the people is orange man bad, MAGA bad. So if you play into that, you don't have to talk about your policies. You don't have to have good policies. You don't have to say anything that is going to be unifying, because that is unifying among your base.
I tried to get us on a typical speech, right? This is a really big outlier among Biden's speeches, right?
Well, so is the Trump one. So that's why we're taking extremes to make the point. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed that clip, check out the full live stream link in the bio and catch me live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. See you there.